Now, the highest court in the European Union has ruled Hamas should remain on the EU's terrorism blacklist. The decision by the European Court of Justice overturns a ruling from 3 years ago. A lower court then said the EU relied on media reports rather than its own investigations to keep the Palestinian group on the list. Hamas has controlled Gaza for the past 10 years and fought several wars with Israel. Ahmed Yousef is in our Gaza bureau. He's a Hamas spokesman. Good to have you with us. First of all, we understand that the European Court of Justice has now sent this case back to the General Court of the European Union. Will Hamas be once again resuming legal action at the General Court to try and have its name removed from the terror list?
Actually, it is sad and outrageous for the people in the Arab and Muslim world to hear that this is the European justice. People expecting that they're going to be change in the decision, and instead of continue demonizing Hamas and stigmatize it with terrorism, you should leave it from the terrorist list. Hamas have nothing to do with terrorism. They've been practicing and disciplined during these.
Forgive me, with all due respect, but my question is, we'll get into the question of terrorism or not in a second, but will Hamas be resuming any legal action, or is this the end of the legal road as far as Hamas is concerned?
No, I do believe that they will continue resort to the international court and seeking European justice, and this is maybe one of the ways that we have to follow. We are not ignoring that there is a political and justice system in Europe, and we would like to continue our struggle through this justice system that the European, maybe as people, as government, still respect.
All right. Now, in May, Hamas announced, as I'm sure you know, a new program which accepted a Palestinian state on the 1967 boundaries. Shouldn't the next step, or could the next step be that Hamas also announces to end any attacks on civilians? Surely that would help not only remove the name of Hamas from a terror list, but it would also be the right moral thing to do, would it not?
I do believe that Hamas is respecting the international law, and this international law gives the right to the people who are suffering from occupation or under occupation to resist the occupier. I think the Israeli...
Forgive me again for jumping in, with all due respect, but Amnesty International, for example, might disagree with you. They said in their report on the 26th of March 2015, quote, Palestinian armed groups, including Hamas, repeatedly launched unlawful attacks during the conflict, referring to the 2014 conflict, killing and injuring civilians.
That's, again, I would like to say that the Hamas is not committing a crime, war crimes or crimes against humanity. Also, the international law accusing Israel, and the Johnston report after the Israeli aggression on Gaza also announced that Israel committing a war crimes, and Israel is still
that's true, they did, but with all due respect, they also said they called it a flagrant disregard for international humanitarian law. They did criticize Israel. There have been human rights groups which have criticized the Israeli occupation, their indiscriminate shelling of civilian areas. Yeah. But here, Amnesty is also saying some of Hamas's tactics amount to a flagrant disregard for international humanitarian law. Why not change that approach and that tactic and spare civilians?
I think Hamas, and it is a new political charter or documents, have said many things that to meet the international law or what has been considered justice. And we are doing nothing more than what the Algerian or the French, the Algerian doing against the French occupation, also the French against German or Nazi occupation. We are following the same thing. It's our struggle against occupation, and once Israel ending its occupation, I don't think there is going to be need for any military struggle against it. But until now, we're still under occupation, and we have obligation towards our people to liberate our country.
Ahmed Yousef, thanks for talking to us.